We had the opportunity to talk with Kurt Becker about his book, Hoops, and about a myriad of other things. He's always something going on in his life that's exciting. Congratulations that you're getting this exposure, that you have an opportunity to be here tonight for this event.
Well, I appreciate that, Greg. And when I was growing up, I tried in 5th grade to play basketball at Altamont Lutheran, and I quickly found out I was not cut out for it. So as a result, I've always had a lot of respect for the folks who are involved in the game, and it was fun researching and writing this particular book.
Was it something that you'd said, you know, I ought to do that sometime, and then finally you did it, or did you work on it in fits and starts through the years?
It was something that really began back in the mid-1990s, growing up in Altamont, which for many years has been home to the National Trail Conference Tournament. I would sit in the stands and discussions would come up about records. You know, I wonder who has the record for most points in a game and that type of thing. So back around the winter of 1996 or 97, I actually started coming here to the Helen Matthes Library in Effingham, digging through the newspaper microfilm archives, started the research then, and finally came to fruition about 1 year ago.
Yeah. I know that libraries are near and dear to Kurt's heart too, because he's very active in the Altamont Public Library, so I'm sure you like this venue.
I love it, and it's such a tremendous asset when one can go to really any of the local libraries here in Effingham County and pull up those marvelous old newspaper articles, whether one's researching high school sports, town history, whatever it may be. I've said before, we often lament that when folks pass on, it's often said they take their stories to the grave, and generally that's true. But when you can go back and find articles with quotes from individuals who are no longer with us, it can shed a lot of light on things.
Exactly. So I'll freely admit that I've been going to basketball games before, and something will come up, and I say, I know, I'll call Kurt, and I have, and he'll have that information by the time I get to my destination. You've become a repository like that. You must have a tremendous mind for facts and figures. That doesn't always interest everybody.
Well, you know, the former sports editor, now retired, of the Effingham Daily News, Sam Rickelman, long time a colleague of yours in the Effingham media,
Sure.
and I had a chance to work with Sam for several years at the Daily News, and I used to send Sam these historical articles on basketball, and he would call me, and as only Sam can do, he would say, "You really need to get a life. You've got too much time on your hands."
I always tell Kurt, how do I know that he's telling me the truth? What frame of reference do I have? As far as I know, he's right, but he may be making this up. But I know him too well to know that he'd do that.
And you know, that's another thing. When I was growing up, and not just because you're doing the interview, but as a child, when I was growing up in the 70s, of course, my father is a harness race announcer, has called races at the local and area fairs for years, and I know he always enjoyed being part of the media fraternity with folks like yourself and Larry Wilson, and with Sam and the print media and Millie Lang and so forth, and on the list goes. And that was another thing, my dad's influence, being a fan of high school basketball, and the respect that he had for the way the sport was covered really piqued my curiosity as well when I was growing up.
Is it just my perception, or have we been unusually blessed with amazing talent, both individually and as teams?
There's no question about it. In fact, in the course of researching this particular book, Hoops, I was ashamed of the fact that so much, as the saying goes, hit the cutting room floor, because it became a problem trying to find enough room to put everything in the book that really a person believed in his heart needed to be in the book. But what a wonderful problem to have.
Hoops 2? A sequel, maybe?
Possibly. We'll see what the folks at the paper have to say, and maybe down the road it'd be fun to do another one.
Always great to see you. Congratulations, Kurt, on so many neat things coming your way. Your work with Keeneland, your work with Barrett Jackson, your work with MRN, now you're Citizen of the Year in Altamont, your work with the library and Emmanuel Lutheran Church, and so many things that none of us know about that you're involved in. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Greg, and as always, it's fun to get a chance to catch up with my friends here in Effingham tonight, and to see you and to see Wayne and the whole gang, so tell the folks at Premier Broadcasting hello.
I'll do that. That's Kurt Becker. I'm Greg Sapp.